So, Steve, what do you think of the new House of Wolves DLC for Destiny? Steve? Steve? Jesus Christ! Hello and welcome to this week's roundup of news, and I don't really see any other place that I can start than saying my favourite story of the week has been completely ruined. Okay, right, and this is the story. Basically, they were talking about the idea of doing a Lego-style MMO like Minecraft or something like that, and why it was never going to happen. We actually had a coder go to Games Radar of all sites as well, to talk about why it would never happen, and the simple answer that they gave in their words was Wangs. Yep, you guys just, whenever you get given the opportunity to be creative, you draw dicks all over it. That's basically what happened. So there was all this stuff about why it wasn't going to happen. They even talked about dong detection software that they've been experimenting with to actually find the dicks that have been drawn in the world and actually delete them, but they said that players are way too creative for that. The actual quote is, players would hide the dongs where the filtering couldn't see, or make them only visible from one angle, or make multi-part penis sculptures. I don't know. This was just this really amazing story that just got all completely ruined because then a couple of days later, LEGO announced that they have made LEGO Worlds, a competitor to Minecraft. So that has gone completely out the window. I had all this kind of like ideas together to say that it's your fault, and now the biggest dick in this news story is me, or in my case, LEGO, for spoiling it by actually releasing the game. So there you go, good news for people that like Minecraft and things like that. There is going to be a competitor, and it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this issue, if it's such a big deal, because of course their reasoning is that LEGO is a very family-friendly product, and they didn't want just dicks built all over their world. The only problem is, now they've drawn attention to it, and people are going to go out of their way to do it now. So there we go. That's my news story of the week that got completely and utterly ruined. So yeah, LEGO Worlds, I think, is already available in a beta stage, I think, on Steam. So if that does interest you, that's there. It's ready for you if you want it. And now on to a release that was always going to happen, FIFA 16. And there's been a little bit of controversy over it, and I'm not really sure why. Basically what's happened is they've implemented women for the first time. There's going to be 12 women's international teams in the game. And where has this controversy come from? Well, it's actually not from men that are saying, oh, this is a man's game, why should you throw women in? Because that would have been absolutely ridiculous. This has actually come from the opposite side of things. So why are they saying that this move is sexist? Well, for a start, you can't do with the women what you do with the men. And there's two main arguments to this. The first bit is that things like career mode and create a character mode are not going to be implemented into this one for women. And I can understand why, because there's only a limited number of women's teams, so there's only so much you can really do with something like that. It's one of these things where it becomes a valid argument if in 2 or 3 games' time, it's still where it is, because they haven't made the effort to improve on it. At the moment, this is the first steps into this, so I think we should be happy that they're at least putting it in, because I do think it's a fantastic move. But the second argument that I've been heard against this is the fact that you can't play the women's teams against the men's, and here's the standpoint they tend to take in these games. You look at something like the UFC games, and you can't have women fighting the men. And the whole idea is they don't want to start showing men beating on women, is the idea. And I'm not saying everyone will go to do that, but if children see it, I think the idea is that it could influence them in the future and think it's okay to do these things. And likewise, in FIFA, you have injuries in the game. Players can injure other players. So you could start having people playing around with the men's teams breaking women's legs. And no one wants to see that. It's something that could easily be fixed. Basically, you could turn off injuries for the game so that won't happen. Sure, you'll still have people doing rough challenges and things like that, but at least you wouldn't be seeing people going off with broken legs and things like that. Again, I just think this has all been blown out of proportion somewhat. I think it's fantastic that they're taking at least baby steps towards it, and I can't help but think this is more people flinging abuse at EA because they're an evil company, which they are, but I just think this is misplaced. So yeah, let's all just leave it. Let's see 2-3 games down the line whether things have improved or not. Hopefully they will. Then you can throw whatever abuse you want at EA if things haven't changed till then. Okay, please, please, please. Right. And now back to the gift that keeps on giving. Silent Hills. Once again, I'm going to talk about this because we had the rumour mill running absolutely wild. Talk about Xbox possibly buying up the exclusive rights to Silent Hills to be able to go on and finish the game. Why is this a shame? Well, Xbox are struggling. They don't really have very many exclusive titles to them. And Silent Hills is a game that, regardless of what platform it goes on, we really want to see this get made, because Silent Hill as a series has not been that great, and Silent Hills looks to be absolutely fantastic. And if Xbox bought up the rights to the game, got the same team on board, and allowed them to just go ahead and finish the game, this is nothing but good news, really. It's kind of one of those things as to why is this a massive mistake? Well, Xbox need it. They really need it. I mean, apart from Rise of the Tomb Raider, which saw another teaser trailer release for it the other day, Xbox don't really have any exclusives that have got a lot of people really talking about it. This would massively boost Xbox. You could even see some people going out and buying an Xbox One for this game. And yet they've firmly denied that they are buying up this game. Massive mistake on their part. This would have generated a huge amount of publicity. It really would have been good for the console. It would have been good for the industry. And I can't understand why they aren't doing this, especially now that it's actually been leaked and generated a bit of hype about it as well. It's a dumb move on Xbox's behalf, and the only hope now is that they have seen it and they're really going to push through for it, because, like I said, Xbox need exclusives. And to be honest, it tends to be a habit with Xbox as well, that when they do get hold of an exclusive, they eventually release it onto the PC as well. The only game that hasn't done that, I think, is Sunset Overdrive. Oh, and the Forza games as well, but Sunset Overdrive is a piece of absolute turd, so that's probably better for the PCs that they haven't got it. So yeah, let's hope this happens. And the last real news story I want to talk about is companies are getting impatient. It looks like no one wants to wait for E3. We are getting loads of announcements for new games, and really great ones too. I've already talked about Lego Worlds, I've mentioned the Rise of the Tomb Raider, but in terms of announcements, we have had XCOM 2, which I am really excited about. I loved XCOM, a really fantastic kind of top-down style strategy game, turn-based. Really looking forward to the second one. This could be absolutely huge. Dark Souls 3 as well, as apparently, okay, this one hasn't been announced. They reckon they are going to announce it at E3. That was the story that we heard. And finally, Fallout 4. This isn't really a big secret at all. I said I expected it to be announced at E3. It's getting announced early, so paint me wrong. Okay, right, so that's about it. But before I finish, I suppose I'd better say why I don't like this House of Wolves DLC. Well, it's got a large focus on multiplayer this time, the PvP I mean, and it's something in Destiny that never really interested me in the first place, so a lot of it may be personal reasons, but as well, I felt as if almost every level just ended with waves and waves of enemies being thrown at you, and I just didn't like it at all. There wasn't very much variety to it, there was nothing really fresh. So, is there anything at all I can take from this that's good? Well, the sidearm's pretty cool. I like that new weapon. But other than that, I really don't have much positive to say about this, really. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Please leave your comments and stuff like that below. And if you're a new subscriber, please remember to subscribe and like. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.